Hi, everyone. How are you today? I have with me today Jennifer, and we are going to share with you our experience juggling between the 3D and the 5D. Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm fine. So glad to have you here and to be able to share our experience.
Yes, I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. How can we start it? I would say it's kind of sometimes difficult to go from 3D and 5D. I will have to say that I have like three groups of, let's say, friends and family around me. And I have like one group is not knowing what's going on and not at all. And I have a one group that say that they know, but when I try to show them, for example, a picture of someone and say, don't you see it doesn't look the same way than a few years ago? I was like, okay. And I have another group who's saying that and I know they're aware of everything that is happening, but in the action, nothing changed. You know, they know that, you know, everything that's happening around us, but they still be in a fear watching the mainstream and so on. So sometimes I'm just like, you know, when one of those talk to me and try to tell me something, I'm just, because I don't know what to do. What about you, Jennifer?
Yeah, I have a similar experience of having those kind of how shall I say, sort of divided people, and I do find that it's harder for people to, how shall I say this? It's one thing to know about what's going on, but that's not what makes 5D consciousness, right? It's when you know what's going on and you can be that relaxed, trusting, neutral observer, knowing that if you stay in a place of neutrality and lack of fear, and you put your focus on not a future that you want, but a state of peace, and a state of love and a state of compassion and a state of gratitude, that's what 5D is. And just trusting that maintaining that will create your experience of being on that timeline. And it's very different because some people get exposed to all of this information, and the information can be very challenging to wrap your head around because some of it is very dark. And it can be hard for them to then pull out of the fear and the anger and the pain from what they've been exposed to. And so they're still very much in 3D. They have the awareness, but they're still very much in 3D. And honestly, we shift from 3D to 5D regularly because 3D is like the mundane world and taxes and stuff. And you know, 5D is that, you know, unity and peace and compassion, and so really it's a state of mind and a state of being. And so it's kind of like I feel like there's a vacillation for everyone, but for some of us we're in a greater degree of 5D than 3D. Or we're kind of a foot in both worlds, right? We're operating consciously in 5D while
in 3D,
still having to like pay our taxes and clean the house. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I would say I prefer, you know, when I'm trying to be in the 5D, is I'm trying to create actually the world that I want to be. So like peaceful, more love. And lately I've been trying to create my business around that without, you know, trying too much about competing each other, more working together and complete it actually together instead of competing. So the 3D, like you say, we need to be there time to time, so try, you know, with people there. But I think also the challenge is to be able to bring our business, for some of us who started maybe like for the past few years, to bring it in that loving, compassion, sharing place.
Yes.
Because not everyone is on that level.
Agreed. Because because 5D is about community, and it's about I'm getting tangled just talking about it. It is about community, and it's about collaboration. It's not about me, I. It's about how can we help each other improve all of our lives, as opposed to I'm in competition with you, so I have to try to prove that I'm better at whatever it is that we're doing than you are, so that I get more of the, that is more of the 3D business model. And so you're not even, to be bold, I wouldn't even say that you're trying to create. I would say that you are doing by being.
Doing by being. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
You didn't, like, it's created, but now all you have to do is
being.
do it, and doing it, you are being it, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, there is a difference, because it's the state of mind, actually.
Yes.
The way,
exactly.
the new way of doing. And in that, which is great, is that in 5D, it will be like abundance for everyone. It's not like just, the top 500, in the magazine of Fortune or something. Like, it's everyone have the same possibility, opportunity.
Yes, exactly. And that's where that community and that collaboration comes in, because it is more of a, without it being the political version of this, it's more on a how shall I say this? This is less of a political ideology and more of a unity consciousness. So it's more of a spiritual ideology of, let's just all see each other as equals and help each other out. And it's less about self-gain. And that's where you're talking about that Fortune 500 are up here, and then you've got the plebes down here. It is like a collaboration community. How can we help each other out, where it is that unity consciousness and what is the word? I already thought of it. Oh my Lord, unity consciousness and equality. Sorry, my brain stopped functioning for a moment there.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And how do you deal with that, being on 3D and work on the board, because we all in the 2 dimension? Does it have an impact on your behavior, or are you okay with it?
I mean, I guess I look at it as it is what it is, because you can't, in fact, I just made a post about it today. You can't really know what 5D is, looks, or feels like without understanding what 3D is, looks, and feels like, because they feel very differently. And so you have to have that contrast between the different dimensional consciousnesses in order to know when you're in one versus in the other. And so we have to have those 3D moments. So we have to have those moments of feeling frustrated, defeated, worried, scared. Those are all gifts to us to be gauges as to where we are and where our consciousness is focused, to be contrast to then go, okay, I got to get this out of my system. It's okay to be here for a moment and to use it as a springboard then to shift into 5D. So what can I take action on? What do I have control over? I don't have control over these things, but I have control over my actions and my perception So what can I have control over, and what can I then do differently moving forward? And so it's using those moments of 3D as contrast and inspiration for and springboarding into 5D consciousness. Does that make sense when I say that?
Yeah, that makes sense. And you know, when you were saying that, it just popped in my mind that we didn't know actually what was the 3D until now, because it's only now that we really feel the emotion, the everything that's, you know, that we are experiencing. And sometimes I'm like, did we really live in that? You know, 3D? And we need, actually, like you mentioned, we need to experience it, so then we know what we are moving out from.
Mm-hmm.
To go to
absolutely right.
To actually go to the 5D. That's the reason why we don't know yet how it will be in 5D, because we are experiencing it a little bit, but to be able to really feel it, we really need to to realize what the 3D is actually.
Precisely. That's exactly right. You said it very well. Mm-hmm. And we're getting there. Little by little, we're getting there. And it's meant to be a transition. You know, it's not meant to be whoop, we're in 5D now. It's a transitional phase. So this is, I think we're doing really well. And I kind of feel like we're, for lack of a better way of putting it, because time doesn't exist, but we're like ahead of schedule. If you're looking at it from a linear experience, we're like ahead of schedule, which is awesome. I mean,
yeah, and we cannot go like you say, from 3 to 5D just like today we are in 3D, tomorrow we are in 5, because it will be a shock, you know, even for our bodies, because, you know, all the trauma, the healing that we need to go through, it cannot be done in 24 hours, let's say.
Mm-hmm. So absolutely.
I thought you were about to say something.
Oh, I thought you were going to continue, so I was letting you continue before I look at that. We were being so polite to each other. No, you said so please, I didn't want to interrupt. Please keep going.
And but I have to say, sometimes it's hard for me, because let's say for a few days I'm working, so I'm in that space of love and compassion and sharing. And when I have to go now, like let's say outside, I feel lost, because I see all of this and I'm wondering, how long have I been, you know, on the other side? Because it's and when I look at it, sometimes I'm wondering how those people will know when we shift, because, you know, some of them don't have a clue.
Right.
It's like, you know, they keep going, and I find there's a lot of people, you know, even though there is a lot of people who knows. So I don't know if in your area is the same thing.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And that feeling of being like an alien, be in like this foreign planet, because, you know, most of the people around you are entirely unaware and entirely indoctrinated into the 3D. I find I have two different experiences. At times it's, what is the word? How do I want to describe it? It's like, I want to get in and get out. And like, you know, going to the grocery store is, I think, a perfect example.
Yeah, I agree.
And then there are times where I'm a little more at peace with it and more present with it. And I'm just trying to feel into those moments so I can accurately describe them. And I kind of look at the other people with forgive them for they know not what they do, sort of compassionate feeling, because because they genuinely don't, like they don't know what they don't know. And I will say there is, I don't know if you've heard of this before, but from my understanding, there's going to be what's called a bifurcation of the worlds, which means the timeline split, where there are those of us that are going to experience the 5D ascension timeline, and those that are going to experience the 3D but then descension timeline. And you make the choice based on, I feel like it's twofold. I feel like it's both a pre-incarnation choice, because they're both just experiences. One is no better than the other. They were both created by Source for the sake of experience, for contrast, right? It's contrast again. So I feel like those that have not chosen, but whether it's, you know, because you can change what you, how should I say this? You can predetermine, thank you, that's the right word. You can predetermine alternate experiences. So you can say, well, I'd like to have both the experience of this, but if I in the moment make this choice, then I want this to happen. So you've got all the different potential possibilities all predetermined. And so some people have that predetermined, you know, if I make these choices, I'll take the descension timeline. If I make these choices, then I'll be on the ascension timeline, because they're both just experiences. Whereas others have made a determination of, nope, just ascension, nope, just descension, again, for the sake of the experience. So I kind of feel like what they choose,
it's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know, none of our business, and it's meant to be. It's all meant to be, even though there's so many of us looking around going, what? You know, and wanting to save the others. They don't need anything, because regardless, they'll just go through the ascension cycle again, the 26,000 year cycle again, and eventually they'll get there. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But I think it's sometimes hard or difficult for us to know that the close one might not, you know, be with us because they're close.
We won't experience it that way. That's the cool thing about it. That won't be our experience. So, you know how right now we've got multiple different timelines of even this current incarnation. We've got multiple different timelines going on where we've made different choices and different experiences are taking place. But this point of awareness has no clue
Of
right?
What?
Yeah, it'll be very much the same thing, because time won't exist. It will feel to us like they've joined us, because we won't linearly experience them going through that 26,000 year cycle. It will feel like, to us, it will feel like they're coming with us, because we won't be waiting, if that makes sense, because time doesn't exist. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, it's hard to explain that multidimensional stuff. Yeah. So I hope I'm making sense.
We will be like at the same time. We will be like at the same timeline, right? Because they already they won't be like
they'll join it.
Yeah.
But like we'll be on the ascension timeline, right? The goal, right? And they're kind of doing this, but it won't be like we're over here going do waiting for them.
Yeah,
right. It will, because time doesn't exist, it will feel like this. Does that make sense? So
yeah, they will be like right there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, even though they totally did a whole other 26,000 year cycle, it won't feel that way to us. Yes. So that's the benefit.
Yeah, that's good. Because I was asking myself, you know, a few people that I know, and I'm like, I don't want to leave them, you know, be behind. But yes. Because the time doesn't exist, like you mentioned, exactly. So we will find each other on the other side.
Exactly. exactly right. That's exactly right. Perfect.
Yeah.
And in the linear time, during incarnation, that may be where we may experience some separation. If someone's perception, it becomes, because duality is going to continue to increase as the world bifurcates, as the timelines separate. And so we may experience, how shall I say, literal separation, in that there may be people that the duality and the difference in perspective and the difference in belief and the difference in resonance becomes so great and so dissonant that there may have to be I just can't have you in my life, because your choices and my choices are putting us in different, places and different positions and different experiences. Like, I want to go live in the earth oriented community, and you want to live with genetic modification, transhumanism. I respect your choice, but that puts us literally in two different spaces. So there may have to be that, but it's not going to be
long.
How am I going to put that into words?
I think it's not going to be long, right?
No, go ahead, finish. Yeah.
We won't feel, because when you explain that we are going to feel because there will be that duality, it's probably when the time where we will be on the both dimension before you really separate. Because because it will be a one period of time that we will be in both,
Yep. Yeah, I know exactly. And yes, that at least that's my understanding. And it may be that we'll have to be like, hey, you go live that lifestyle, I'm gonna go live this style. We can still talk on the phone and catch up and stuff, but our lives have literally shifted us to different places because of the choices we've made. But that doesn't mean you have to stop loving each other or talking to each other.
Yeah, no.
It just means you might literally have to separate. And I can see that potential for some people in my life, because they don't know what's going on and they I think would easily, and have easily thus far, been entirely unaware and entirely, how should I say this, entirely unaware of the intentions behind certain narratives, if you get where I'm going. And also then very much in support of those narratives. And so I feel like there is that potential. And so it's just something that I'm kind of mentally and emotionally preparing for, assuming that happens in this lifetime. It could be the next lifetime. I don't know. And the next lifetime, I might choose a different timeline. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm preparing myself as well, because we never know, and you can see those who keep following the narrative. And so you're trying to prepare yourself, because emotionally, even though we won't feel something, at the moment we feel something.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, but it's a challenge. It's challenging. This moment, this period is like a lot. And there is a lot going on.
Yes. Oh my, I feel like that is probably the most challenging part about it, because it's like fast and furious, and all the stops are being pulled out.
Yeah.
Like all of them. So it's like, wow, you can tell there's desperation because of the lengths to which they're going in order to maintain control, maintain power, and create enough collective fear to then attain a greater degree of collective control. And but what I love, and this is where my faith is and trust is, like, look, seeing that that golden nugget in the middle is the more that happens, the more people go, all right, wait a minute, what is going on? And people start asking more questions and people start waking up more. It's like the harder they try and the more stuff they pull, the more people they're waking up. So it's almost like bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah, definitely. The more they push,
but that's what I'm holding on to.
Yeah, the more they're pushing, the more people are like, why you want to push that? Why you want to do this? It's like they start to waking up, and because they are realizing that it doesn't make sense. What are you saying? It doesn't make sense. So that's, yeah, me too. That's a good thing that, you know, and there is stuff that coming out like every day. Every day is a lot of information. And for some of those that we know, we just like sit there and, okay, keep bringing, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, because I am seeing people go, okay, wait. And their desperation is making them make mistakes, and the mistakes aren't making sense, and are contradictory, and that's what's making people go, okay, wait a minute. I love it. That's my favorite part. There are still those that repeat the propaganda and just kind of even though it's contradictory information. Yeah. But the number of people that are going,
what? Yeah.
Wait, are
increasing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love it. Bring it up. Bring it up.
Definitely. Yeah. And
requires patience though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
on our part.
It's a good feeling because we've been here for some of us for long. So to see those things coming is like, finally it's coming out, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say too, how shall I put this in order to keep us on platforms? I will say that the second wide sweeping illness that has been predicted by many powerful people will and how they're going to want to try to do a 2.0 of the previous one. Mm-hmm. With all the stuff that has come out after the previous one, it's going to fail miserably. Which is great. Like, yes, please. I hope they try it. In fact, I actually just had a dream last night about it, that, you know, the face coverings and stuff will all be brought back. And so, but I call it election 2.0. Mm-hmm. That's what I've been calling it.
Okay.
And then the other thing that we're seeing a lot of now is UFO disclosure. Mm-hmm. But it's but it's false disclosure. Have you noticed that they're pairing it with it's a threat, they're a threat to our nuclear stuff, they're a threat to blah,
that's blah, the fake one.
We've got to increase the defense budget. We've got to increase the defense budget, and we want to weaponize space, because there is a space race between China and Russia, which is why there's all kinds of between us and China and Russia. It's the weaponization of space race, and the desire to broaden and expand the military industrial complex. And I mean, this is all like, they're all combined, and the desire to then utilize these threats to justify greater surveillance and greater control over us for our safety and protection.
Yeah.
So, like, do interdimensionals exist? Of course. I'm a direct experiencer. That's not the point.
Yeah, they are mixing.
False disclosure. They hijacked the disclosure.
They are mixing and they want to bring some fear and, you know, and so on and so on. But it's not the case. It's not the case.
No. Like, I love how they're like, well, they've shut off some of our nuclear weapons and stuff. Yeah, because we're toddlers playing with a loaded revolver. It's got nothing to do with, if they wanted to destroy us, they could have done that and take us over. They could have done that. Like, that's not their aim. And most of what we're seeing in terms of ships is reverse technology, a reverse engineered technology that is ours. They just haven't exposed it. There's tons of technology that they have, but they haven't released it to us. And so when we see it, to us, it will look alien.
Okay. Oh, I see.
But it won't necessarily. Some of it will be reverse engineered, but it will look like, oh my God, it's brand new. And it's not. They've known about it for many decades. Yeah. So just for all of the viewers, don't be shocked when all that stuff comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You probably didn't think you were going down this road today, did you?
No. Wow, this went so fast. We are already at the end of our conversation. Wow.
Yes. Oh my God, it felt like 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, we just started.
Wow. Okay. Well,
and we have
like, really?
Is there anything that you wanted to share with us before we close in?
I think just for the viewers, I just want people to let your friends and family be and believe what they want. It's everything is in divine right order. Everything is in divine right timing. The more you worry about them and try to push your beliefs, the greater degree of resistance you're in, which actually moves you into 3D, not 5D. So just be at peace that if it's for their highest and best good to shift with you,
is going to be.
They will. If it's not, they won't. Either way, it's yes, exactly. So just be at peace and let that peace bring you into 5D. I think that's the last thing I'd like to say with regard to a message for the viewers.
Yeah, and I agree with you because even myself now, I just let it be. And if the person might change, you know, at the last time, that's okay also. But I'm not pushing. I'm not, you know, I just leave it like that. And I'm just saying the divine will know. And also, like you mentioned earlier, is also their karma. You know, they chose to be on that way.
Absolutely.
And it's not me to change that because I don't know his story, like he doesn't, like the person don't know my story. So but it doesn't mean that I don't love or, you know, that person and I care for that person. So we just let the person be and enjoy the time that you guys have at the moment. That's also my message for the viewer.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Thank you again so much for having me on. This was so much fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Thank you for being here. Thank you everyone for watching and like or share the video if you find this interesting. Thank you everyone. Until next time. Bye, Jennifer.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.